Mercedes seems to have found their groove when it comes to race pace. The fact that they've been so close to victory in the USA and they managed to take P2 and P3 in the qualifying session in Mexico says enough for itself. They are challenging Ferrari yet again for the P2 spot in the Constructors' Championship, but it seems like the Brackley-based team is having some struggles when it comes to calling the right shots. This is something that cannot happen to any team competing for a better position, as Hamilton pointed out after the Mexican GP. So what does Hamilton have to say about the way the Mexican GP ended? What does Mercedes hope for the next GP in Brazil? And do they have a real chance of passing Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship? Before we dive deep into all of these questions, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like our video, and turn on the notifications. Mercedes are currently having one of the most troublesome seasons after some long time, more precisely after the 2013 season. They've been able to win 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships and 7 consecutive Drivers' Championships, only losing out to Verstappen in 2021. But it seems like every reign comes to an end, and although Mercedes hopes that will be a short end, focusing only on the 2022 season, that would be a huge challenge to overcome. But there are some positive things they can absorb from the last few races, and the fact that they've been able to outperform Ferrari in Mexico is surely going in their own favor. They ran a new front wing that has been labeled as an illegal one by the competitors, but those are just rumors as of this part. It's evident that the new front wing has helped them a lot when it comes to performance, but yet again they are missing the pace to be the fastest car on the grid and win a race. Hamilton's pace was amazing during the Mexico GP, and we saw that Verstappen had a tough time breaking the toe from Hamilton, even though he was on the soft compound tyre and the Briton was chasing him on the medium compound tyre. Still, the tactics have been crucial in this race, as we saw that Verstappen and Perez switched from softs to mediums, while Hamilton and Russell went from the mediums to the hard compound tyre. According to Hamilton, this is exactly where Mercedes lost their race, as they showed that they have a good pace when it comes to fighting or staying in the fight with Verstappen in Mexico. Both Mercedes drivers have questioned the call to drive on the hard compound tyres because this compound didn't really seem to be a faster one compared to the other two. Mercedes hoped that Red Bull would have to enter one more time in the pit stops, which would have brought Hamilton to the first position and Russell to the second. However, this didn't turn out to be the case. We saw that even with Perez's aggressive drive, he was able to persevere the tyres and last over 40 laps on them. Hamilton initially spoke about the alternate tyre strategy, saying that it cost him a shot at his first victory in 2022, adding, "I was so close in that first stint, but I think the Red Bull were just clearly too fast today, and ultimately they had the better tyre strategy." However, Hamilton also spoke about the deficit that we were able to witness when it comes to the soft compound tyre and the medium and hard ones. Ricciardo has been a clear indicator that the soft compound tyre was truly the right thing when the others are on the hards and the mediums, and according to him, his team should have started on the softs just like Red Bull. I'm not sure it was the right tyre at the end. I thought we should have started on a soft, but obviously we had the opposite tyre, and it was okay in the first stint, but that hard tyre was just an offset. I have so much love for Mexico and for the people here. What a great race and event that put on this weekend. On top of that, Hamilton spoke about him getting tag teamed by Red Bull and that it's much tougher challenge to pick the right strategy when you don't have your teammates behind you, with Russell being behind Perez for the entire course of the race. I kept telling them the tyres were fine, but I'm assuring that they were coming into my window. Sergio had already stopped, so I'm assuming they were much quicker than me perhaps. So if we stayed out longer, I would have come out behind Sergio and it would have been all over. I think that's the reason. Unfortunately, at the beginning, obviously I had a good battle through turn 1 and 2, but my teammate got jumped by Sergio, so I was basically tag teamed by the Red Bulls. It's very, very hard on strategy when you don't have both cars there. I think Sergio was able to come in and pull me in, which definitely hindered our strategy. The same attitude prevails in Wolff, as he also confirmed that the tyre strategy was the wrong one and it was ultimately what cost them the first win of the season. With how Mercedes has been performing in 2022, we know that the most important thing for them is to win at least one race this season, something that we aren't really able to see due to the fact that Red Bull is just too dominant. The team hoped that Red Bull would have to pit at least one more time. As Wolff said, we were pressured with Lewis to do that pit early. we didn't think that the medium would go on till the end. It was totally surprising the way Perez hammered the tyre and it was still holding on, so we just got it wrong. We discussed whether the soft-hard combination was a viable one-stop strategy, and we thought it's never going to go that far, so the soft medium wasn't even on the radar. Obviously, what Mercedes could have done is to change from the medium compound tyre to the softs at the end stages of the race and then be able to pressure Verstappen for the win. However, according to Wolff, the soft tyre performance wasn't a given at the end, even though we saw that Ricciardo was able to climb the ladder like he did. Still, both Mercedes drivers didn't have a new set to use at the end like Ricciardo had. We felt the soft tyre was strong when we discussed it this morning, but not strong enough to go 30 laps. It could have been a case of just lose more time on the medium and hang it out there for another 5-6 laps and then try to do 30 laps on the soft. But also that was not a given that it would hold on. With Ricciardo, you could see that it was possible. Still, there are some positives that Mercedes can take from Mexico, such as the battle with Ferrari. The team will already have an increased amount of time to spend in the wind tunnel facilities, something they'll desperately need to bring themselves back to the top in the following season. If they finished P2, this time will be a little bit less compared to if they finished P3. However, teams like Mercedes aren't thinking of finishing P3 deliberately just to gain more time in the wind tunnel facilities, as they are going for the maximum they can get from this season, and that is the P2 spot in the Constructors' Championship. With how Ferrari has performed so far, and Leclerc labeling Mexico as the worst race of the season, the possibility of Mercedes jumping Ferrari in the last 3 races is a real one. On top of that, they are hoping that the Interlagos GP in Brazil will be a very decent chance for them to achieve their first win of the season, now that the car has behaved very well in Austin and Mexico. Hamilton spoke about the team's hopes in Interlagos, saying, "I'm so happy to be kind of back in that fight. We saw in the last race in the United States, almost having a chance to win. I don't know what the car will be like in these next races. I'm hoping in Brazil something special may come of it, but we'll see." There are so many positives to take from this weekend. This is definitely the most competitive and the best the car has felt all year, and that is truly down to the amazing work from all the women and men back at the factory, who have just been doing such an amazing job and not giving up. I think it's just been a real showing of resilience and perseverance. With that being said, what do you think is next for Mercedes? Do you think that they are able to win one race in the remainder of the 3 races they have left on the calendar? Let us know in the comments below.